This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. You have the code of a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you never stood here. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
And do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to TruckerMouth, the podcast that gives you real insight into the trucking industry while providing a platform for your voice to be heard. Whether you're behind the wheel, managing logistics, or just passionate about the industry, this is the place to build confidence, share experiences, and stay informed. Join us as we tackle the challenges, celebrate the wins, and drive forward together.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my underground bunker studio. I'm down here giving veterans a voice. I'm TruckerMouth, and you're on the road show. Today on the road show, we're going to discuss Bill H.R. 3372. Bill H.R. 3372 is a bill that wants to put bigger, heavier trucks, bigger, longer, heavier trucks on the road. They're proposing to raise the gross vehicle weight rating of the whole truck from 80,000 pounds to 91,000 pounds and add another axle. And it's coming in with all kind of opposition, and it's hard enough, in TruckerMouth's opinion, pulling fighting with 80,000, fighting with a load weighing, 45,000 pounds, making your gross vehicle weight rating 80,000 pounds, a couple thousand miles, that's hard enough. I could imagine, 91,000. I mean, I've been over already by a couple thousand pounds, but I mean, I couldn't imagine 91,000 pounds pulling that around and having their axle. But, it's coming in with some serious opposition from all over. Bigger trucks will lead to disastrous results, industry leaders say. Yeah, it's going to be disastrous results. And heavier trucks, I mean, they're already a danger out there to the general public. Well, I shouldn't say a danger, but it can be a danger. And just the damage to the roads and the bridges itself is going to lead to considerable infrastructure problems. So if you want to put heavier trucks on the roads and bridges, you're asking for some sort of catastrophe at some point. The executive director of National Association of County Engineers says they already know what a truck with a gross vehicle weight rating of 80,000 pounds does. Trucks, all these trucks. And if you want to go to 91,000 pounds, they just already are anticipating safety concerns and infrastructure concerns about it. If you increase the life or increase the weight of trucks on the bridges and roads, in theory, you're shortening the lifespan of the bridge and the roads. And there's no funding available to address that speed up timeline. Okay, these states are already putting all kind of money into the roads, and they should be anyway, into the roads and bridges, and that there is just going to lead to more. And they're going to pass that on to the trucking industry somehow. And it just, in the TruckerMouth's opinion, it don't make no sense to do that. 80,000 pounds is enough out there running around. Got tires blowing, all kind of shit going on. I mean, yeah. So National Association of County Engineers is one of 26 organizations that make up a coalition against bigger trucks. So they got a coalition against bigger trucks already. And it's just this is coming from opposition from all over. It just ain't going to. Hopefully, it don't get passed anyway. The coalition released a study saying that between 65,157 bridges between there and 82,457 bridges are at risk. I know the bridges around here, they didn't look like, and they couldn't handle that. They couldn't handle that. Definitely. You got all these states that are against it already. Arkansas, California, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Missouri, New Jersey, Ohio, Oregon, Virginia, and Washington. And yeah, they're already anticipating, these states will more than $1.7 billion replace at-risk bridges. So they don't even want to replace them even before this gets in there, because they know they can't. They know they can't hold that weight. And yeah, I don't only add to our infrastructure problems. So we don't like it. TruckerMouth don't like it. We don't like it. It ain't gonna go. That ain't the answer. All right, look at my notes here. U.S. Department of Transportation studied the impact of various longer and heavier trucks and found that the additional cost of damage to both roads and bridges would require billions of dollars and new federal spending adding to our budget deficit. So there we go with that. So it's going to affect the budget deficit. And when it affects the deficit, it's going to affect us. It's going to roll down to the everyday person like me and you. And you got the American Society of Civil Engineers did a study on our roads. They gave our roads a D plus and bridges a C as far as condition goes. Of the 623,000 bridges in the U.S., 49% are in fair condition, 44 are in good condition, and 7% are in poor condition. So they rated them. And they're not in the best shape. They're not in the best shape. From fair to good to poor. So recent efforts to increase the truck size and weight limits have fallen short of standalone bills. However, Congress will soon be working on the next highway bill, and proponents of heavier trucks will then likely attach the provisions to a larger package. So now we got the Shippers Coalition, and they want to say to lawmakers at a recent hearing that an 11,000 pound increase would be modest. So the Shippers Association, the coalition, is for the bigger, heavier trucks. The Shippers Coalition, I never heard of all these organizations in my life. I never did, but I guess they obviously they exist. They said that would be, the Shippers Coalition said that would be a modest increase. 11,000 pounds, that's a, what is that? That's from 8,000 pounds. £8,000. See, 11,000 pounds on 10,000 pounds on 8,000 pounds would be like a 12% increase, 11% increase, 12%. Okay, now we got some comments here. Hello, valuable streamer. I verified you have a few followers, viewers, and users who are very active in the chat. You have a qualified channel promoter. I will get involved in your channel to gain massive followers and a wide audience. If you're already affiliated, I will work with you. Start earning $50 every hour of streaming, but trust me, no bot contact me on Discord. Now, what the hell's this? Yeah, I don't know how that came through here, but anyway, yeah. So I mean, it's definitely got a lot of bad things about it. I mean, they want the farm industry and all wants it. It maybe on short hauls, like if you're taking the corn from and this is TruckerMouth's opinion, the corn from the field and it's only taking it to the processing plant. I don't know. If they got this enacted, I mean, of course, not everybody's going to do this. Like I've seen out Western United States, they'd have extra axles on there, but that's still only 8,000 pounds GVWR, not 91,000 pounds. Oh, yeah. So then the proposal would impose important conditions on participation that protect the public interest, including the addition of extra axle weight distribution requirements of the bridge former and per axle limit. They'd have to change all these laws if they did this. All these different laws. Axle weights. What would axle weights on 91,000 pound be? Right now it's 34, 34, and 12. 12 on the steers, 34 on the drives, 34 on the back. On the tandems. I don't know how you would divide up a 91,000 pound load. I don't want to know. I don't want to have to deal with that. Oh, yeah. So the International Brotherhood of Teamsters and Truckload Carriers and the Owner-Operators Independent Driver Association spoke out in opposition to heavier trucks. OIDA and Teamsters also are part of the Coalition Against Bigger Trucks. So there's a coalition against bigger trucks also. So this thing's done. This thing ain't getting going. No way. No way is this going to pass. And I don't want it to pass. So some of these shippers and large carriers claim increasing truck size and weight is good for trucking. No, it ain't. How's it good for trucking? It ain't good for the driver. It ain't good for the roads. It ain't good for nobody. These are losing propositions for truckers and highway safety. Yeah. Large carriers because they get paid by their weight. And if they can get a load weighing, 53,000 pounds versus 46,000 pounds, they're going to do it. Yeah, because they get paid by the weight. They're only looking out for themselves. They're only looking out for themselves, man. They ain't looking out for drivers. They don't care about the infrastructure, the roads, or nothing. So, Cole I did have his name right. The Teamsters Transportation Policy Advisor, Cole Scandalia, said that the increasing truck weights would create safety concerns and create damage to the nation's roads and bridges. Yes, we all know this for a fact. So the Teamsters are against this. I mean, everybody's against this. Nobody wants this, man. Larger, bigger, heavier trucks. Oh, also, yeah, they want to. The doubles you see running around. Well, we're here in Pennsylvania. The doubles we see running around. They want a proposal to change them from like 24 foot to 33 foot. They might be 26 foot, but no bigger than that. They want to change them to 33 foot and increase the truck weights. No. So just the trailers alone is 60. I'd be 66 foot long. And then you got a tractor pulling them. Like I said, these people, they're only looking out for themselves. They get paid by weight. So you got Josh Elliott past chairman of the Truckload Carrier Association spoke out against proposal for twin 33-foot trailers and increased truck weights. Hell yeah. Man, these people are crazy. I got to get going. I got a lot of information here. Yeah, it don't make any sense to... Yeah. So... the motivation for bigger, heavier trucks comes from corporate interests and not the general public. Doesn't make any sense to increase the size, weight, in terms of motors still on the road and infrastructure they drive on. So they're also saying that if they would increase the trucks and make them bigger, there'd be less trucks on the road. How you figure that? There ain't gonna be less trucks on the road. There's not gonna be less trucks on the road. I don't know where they get this at. Your wait time alone to load a regular truck can be real lengthy, or unload a truck can be real lengthy at times, let alone another 3 skits or another 11,000 pounds on there. So the Rail Association's against the Heavy Truck Bill HR 3372 and a 10-year pilot program. They want to do a 10-year pilot program, which can be extended another 10 years. The hell out of here. 10-year pilot program. The Rail Association called the 10-year pilot program a farce. An American Short Line and Heavier Truck, American Short Line and Regional Railroad Association also challenges claims that would lead to fewer trucks on the road. So the railroad's saying, how's it going to lead the Rail Association, American Short Line and Rail Association, Regional Rail Association, they're even saying, how's it going to lead to less trucks on the road? Short line and regional railroad trucks and freight rail compete for freight every day. Dramatically increasing size and weight of the trucks shifts to the economics of freight trains and would shift more freight to public highways. So it'll be taken. See, now everything falls under the Department of Transportation. Okay, whether it's trains, here in Pennsylvania anyway, whether it's trains, trucks, anything that hauls freight, it is subject to weight limitations, and yeah, and these people, and they're subject to weight limitations, hours of service, and drug and alcohol policies. Creation new dangers on America's roads, cause disrepair on roads, unleash more pollution and greenhouse gases, as he claims. So, if the increase in trucks is approved, then you know what's going to happen. They're going to want to raise the weight limit on train cars, because train cars all get weighed. They all get weighed. They go over. They have scales on them rails that weigh every train car at certain points, and they got to be within specs. They get shut down just like a truck. So, and if they increase the rail cars, then it's going to be causing stress on the rail systems, causing more derailments, stress on engines, pulling the trains, and conductors, breakers, and derailments. So there you have it. Vote no against HR 3372. And now it is time for a station break. I can't move this up. And we come back. Road rage.
It ain't have killings in our street anymore. We need love and understanding. 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 It ain't fair. It ain't fair. It ain't fair. It ain't fair. I don't know what I'm gonna do. All these people are so damn cruel. If we had loving, we wouldn't have war. We wouldn't have killings in our street anymore. We need love and understanding. 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 Where do we go? What do we do? Where do we go? Now I'm telling you, yeah. It ain't fair. It ain't fair. It ain't fair. I said now it ain't fair. I met a man walking down the street, the kind of man that I hate to meet.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Road Rage!
Time for road rage. Here on Road Rage, road rage against issues in the news, current events all around the world. Today, the road rage against immigration enforcement protests. Okay, undocumented, we're not going to take it. Okay, a lot of these people came here. Okay, first off, what's up with all these people waving all these different flags at these protests from different countries? It's not the U.S. against these different countries, from Mexico, from South America, from anywhere in the world. It's an enforcement of laws that were put in effect as far as back as the 1700s. And other presidential cabinets let this go. Now, Obama, he enforced them. I did my research. Every time you do a podcast, you got to research things. He actually did do immigration. He did with immigration reform. So so that's my thing. What's all these different flags, man? Ain't the U.S. against nobody or any other country. It's enforcement of undocumented immigrants, a law that was established. So they started these laws in the 1700s, man. So 1907 was the first immigration law. Okay, 1907. And, definitely the laws were different then. But they had immigration was implemented in 1907. 1917, to 1921, the first Emergency Quote Act in 1917 to limit immigration in 1921. In 1942, agreement with Mexico brought temporary Mexican laborers to work in agriculture. 1965, all these different revisions to this law, but they were all immigration laws. And 1965, you got the Immigration Nationality Act amendments, marked beginning of modern immigration patterns, with more immigrants coming from Asia, Africa, and Latin America. So 65, we got. And 1980, created a formal refugee admissions process, established a process for asylum in 1980. So 1986, immigration reform and control, grant amnesty to 3 million undocumented immigrants, made it illegal to hire undocumented workers. So in 1986, they made it illegal to hire undocumented workers, which they waited to 1986 to do that. See, the United States does a lot of things to themselves. They do a lot of things to themselves, man. And people still hire, not just in the fields, they hire. I picked up at places that I didn't see, no one spoke English or anything. I mean, they picked up at places that they were hiring them. Places to make boats down in nice boats down in I took a load of seats down there to them, and that was the guy said. He said, "When you see the Amiga come here," he said they all run. So I mean, people are hiring them. Okay, so and we got 1994. 1994. According to what my research is, construction of the wall of the U.S.-Mexican border from 1994, and it's still not done. Started in 1994. So then in 2006, the Fence Act signed by George W. Bush authorized 700 miles of fencing along the border. By 2011, much of fencing was done. That's only 700 miles of it. In 2017, Trump had a plan to use the military to build this fence, this wall, whatever it takes. Okay, why didn't they ever do that? They're getting paid anyway. How did the military do it? See, a lot of this stuff, when they went to put the stuff up, this wall up, this fencing up, they were just repairing areas that these people had, they put up before, and these people had cut through and everything else. So that was, okay, right here it is. In 2017, the Trump administration expansion made building a wall focus on his campaign. Actually, construction began in 2018, mostly replacing older barriers. So a lot of it's just they're replacing the older barriers that people had cut through or corroded away or dug under, whatever the hell have you. By 2021, 458 miles had been built, mostly upgrades and replacements. So most of that was upgrades and replacements, just like it says. I wrote all this shit down. I need a printer. Look at all these notes I got. I do research. And I write things down. The TruckerMouth's not as tech savvy as the rest of them. I have a laptop now. I got to it's a nice little laptop. I don't have Wi-Fi, so I got to get that going. That way I can get a printer. Guy said about a wireless printer. I don't want a damn wireless printer. That's just another thing regular printer, I need a printer. So 2021 and 2023, President Joe Biden passed. Okay, Biden paused construction of the wall. And then he allowed limited construction to resume in high traffic areas. Sleepy Joe did that. Man. Wall started in 1994. Trump's modern version began in 2018. As of today, around 1,112 miles of fencing is complete. About 57%, gee, I can't talk today. 57% of the border has a form of barrier. Get the fucking wall built, man. What's the deal here? Put people to work. Okay? Okay, then you got, all these cities having these protests. Now you got, these major cities having protests. And I looked up sanctuary cities. A sanctuary city is a city that doesn't enforce the immigration laws as much as they should. And I read it up in Berkeley, California. Berkeley, California was the first city I don't think I wrote it down. I forget what year it was. 1971, and that was to protect draft resistors, people who resisted the draft. Berkeley, California, San Francisco followed, and then L.A. So these California cities who got the most, immigration problems were the first sanctuary cities. And I looked up on, my ChatGPT and all that. All your major cities seem to be sanctuary cities now. So I don't know. Chicago, sanctuary city, New York City, Denver, and Boston have the most immigration protests right now. Then Texas, Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, Seattle, Philadelphia, Detroit, and Atlanta. Like I said, and also I must say, that these ICE officials and these immigration people, they gotta be professional in what they do. You just can't go and rip somebody out of their house. You gotta identify yourself. Do the right thing too. I mean, you're telling these people to do the right thing. You should do the right thing also. Go in there and give them people a little respect, because a lot of them deserve it. A lot of them been here for years and years, raised families. But immigration hurts everybody, and there's strain on public services like hospital, schools, or housing, and people using services without paying taxes. So in the end, we all pay for illegal, undocumented immigrants in a way in our different states. Then you got these illegals. They're accepting jobs at lower wages, which can undercut job opportunities for legal residents. They're hiring these people with $5 less an hour. I don't know. Just say you got a mason. Guy's a mason. He's an undocumented. He's going to work a lot less than an American citizen. So you got law enforcement, legals. A lot of these areas with a lot of your illegals, they're afraid of contact with the police. So when things happen, they don't report it to the police, which makes areas more unsafe. But actually now I'm gonna get to a flip of this. It is the good things that undocumented immigrants contribute to things, also in a good way. This is the flip side of that. Okay, and definitely not all these people are bad. Not all are bad at all. But there's the pathway to citizenship, and that's what you have to do. And there's definitely going to be some casualties in this. I mean, there's some people that came here to raise families or very productive and never bothered nobody. But that's the fact of the matter is you're undocumented, man. I mean, so labor force support, undocumented immigrants take jobs where there is a labor shortage, like your farm, your agriculture, construction, cleaning, food services at lower, and then lower prices. They take these jobs and they're they help out in that way. It's a good thing about it, because a lot of people don't want to do these jobs. Construction cleanup, minor construction work, cleaning, food services. They do a lot of things good. And there's definitely a lot of, I'm definitely not saying that all these people are bad, because there's a lot of them that are probably better than some freaking Americans, citizens. Lower prices, cost of goods and services, your farming and your hospitality, they help out in that area a lot. Tax contributions. I didn't know about this until I started researching this, right? A lot of these immigrants, undocumented, have fake or borrowed Social Security number. And the Social Security Administration estimates that undocumented pay billions annually in Social Security, even though they can't collect benefits. So they got these Social Security cards that they got somehow, and they're using that number to pay in. And like I said, the they're paying them billions a year annually to the Social Security, even though they can't collect benefits. So that's a good thing that they do. I don't know if they know they're doing a good thing, but they are. At least they have that. See, desperate people do desperate things. If you're in this country and just say your back's against the wall, you have, a couple little kids or something, and you're going to do what you have to do to try to make some money. I've been homeless for a short period of time, and if someone would have told me, hey, you give me some hubcaps or something like that, I'll buy them from you or something. I mean, the sad thing about it is I might have did it. I mean, I don't know. I didn't do anything like that, but yeah, they contribute for the Social Security Administration, contribute billions annually to Social Security. Also, to contribute to cultural and community immigration, regardless of status, contribute cultural diversity, open small businesses, and revitalize neighborhoods. So they add diversity to these cities, and they open restaurants, a lot of cuisine. We have restaurants here in my city around near, and Indian food. You have there's an African restaurant there, a store actually in town. Food, I mean, they contribute like that. Whereas we wouldn't have that food before. So, crime rates are not higher, contradicting the status quo in areas that immigration is large. Areas where immigration is big. The crime rate, according to what I researched, is not higher. Contradicting the status quo. So immigration, including undocumented, are less likely to commit crimes because they don't want on the radar. And that's what's going on with a lot of these people that they're scooping up. They put themselves on the radar for this or that, whatever. And they know you're undocumented, and then you knew it was only a matter of time. Okay, they've been saying they're cracking down. They've been saying, and you have to abide by the law. So immigration, including undocumented, are less likely to commit crimes. Okay, areas with higher immigration populations often have lower crime rates. Immigrations tend to avoid law enforcement because, like I said, they're afraid to get put on the radar. And like I said, there's definitely some casualties in what's going on right now with the ICE raids. But I don't know whoever they thought that sanctuary cities. Okay, I understand for draft dodgers. Now, of course, I wasn't around back there when Vietnam was drafting, but how did it turn into a refugee camp for illegals? I mean, this should have been enforced. This shouldn't have come to this. Nothing should have come to nothing. But the U.S., we do a lot of things to ourselves. The steel industry, in TruckerMouth's opinion. All right, well, TruckerMouth's final thoughts is, look, there's a path to citizenship. It might be difficult. It might be lengthy, but it's the right thing to do. Millions of undocumented immigrants have took the path to citizenship and are naturalized. They naturalize one in the city. I'm around right here every year. I just seen on news and naturalized some in a city not far from here, a bunch of them. It's a class every year they do it too. So there's a due process. And a lot, millions of undocumented immigrants have gone through these naturalization classes and all that, and are productive citizens in the United States. And that's just, it's a law. So, okay, well, everybody, thanks for coming along. On the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.